Hi, welcome parents, carers and Key Stage 2 children to a challenge with Clevertouch Learning at Home. I'm Gareth, primary school teacher, and with me is my very Key Stage 1 daughter, Tallulah, but she loves learning about history, which is what our video is about today. Now, what I'm going to do is set you a challenge, and in this first part, I'll be introducing the challenge to you, and in the second part, the second video, I'll reveal all the answers. So please don't cheat and just jump to the next video. What I'd like to do is to watch this first video, get inspired to go and do some online research or look in a book, and when you've completed the task, then have a look at the second video and see if you got all the answers right. Okay, so Tallulah, who is our challenge about? Which famous person in history are we doing this about?
Henry VIII.
Henry VIII, that's right, King Henry VIII, arguably the most famous king that we've ever had in Britain. Now, Henry VIII was the king after his father Henry VII died in the 16th century. Now, what's he famous for, Tallulah? What did Henry VIII like to do?
Chop off heads.
Chop off heads, that's right, he liked to chop off heads. And he also liked to get married. And, unbelievably, he liked to combine those two favourite things, getting married and chopping off heads. Now, in this first challenge, it's to create a family tree for King Henry VIII. You can do this for any famous person, but it's great fun doing it for Henry VIII because it gets very complicated. I've had a go here, and you can see it's all a bit muddled up. The people aren't in the right places. And you can see that because he married this many times, it's got very complicated. How many wives did he have, Tallulah? Can you count how many ladies he married? Oh no, they're his children over that side. Just those, that side. Six wives. Yeah, so it's Henry VIII, but he married 6 times, so don't get muddled up. Okay, maybe you know the names of some of his wives. Maybe you were doing a project on the Tudors. Maybe you were due to do a project on the Tudors and you haven't been able to because of the coronavirus lockdown. So hopefully this is your chance to still learn all about Henry VIII. So, I want you to research King Henry VIII's wives and children to complete the diagram. Can you add the dates of their births and deaths to your diagram? Can you set it out in a totally different way to me? Okay? Now, around here are all his wives. We've got to try and put them in the right order. I'll tell you their names and I'll slide them in somewhere, but trust me, it won't be the right order. So for example, one of his wives was called Catherine Howard. She could have been his first wife, maybe. He had a wife called Catherine Parr, second wife. And he had another wife called Catherine of Aragon. He married 3 wives, all called Catherine. Quite handy so that he could remember those names. He also married 2 Annes, Anne of Cleves and Anne Boleyn. Were they his 5th and 6th wives? And finally, the last wife was Jane Seymour. Was she wife number 4? Who knows? Now over on this side are the 3 children that Henry VIII had with his queens. So he had Mary, who later on became Mary I. Was she his last child? He had Elizabeth, who became Queen Elizabeth I, and he had Edward, who became Edward IV. All 3 of his children became the ruling monarch after him. Now that's quite rare that all of the children that a king or queen has later on become the king or queen themselves. But is this the correct order in which they did that? Which one ruled for the longest? So that's your challenge. I'd like you to research it. But there's a second part to this challenge. Thank you. Now, those 6 wives, they all ended up with a different fate, linked to King Henry VIII. You probably heard the rhyme, divorced, beheaded, died, okay, and so on. Well, that'll give you a clue as to what happened to the wives. And another thing that you can do is research to discover how each marriage ended, and maybe do a diagram that adds some linking lines. So, here are the wives again. Catherine of Aragon, Anne Boleyn, Jane Seymour, Anne of Cleves, Catherine Howard, Catherine Parr. And these are the 4 kind of ways that the marriages ended. Divorced, beheaded, died in childbirth, or they were widowed, Widowed means that they survived King Henry. He died before them. So 2 challenges, have a go, see if you can create some research, maybe even email it into clevertouch.com. We'd love to see how you get on, and watch the next video to find out what happens. Tallulah, should we wave goodbye to everyone? Thank you everyone, and good luck. Remember, learning is always better with G, and bye.